Entertainment. We celebrate the 43-year reign of the speed metal kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage with the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Monday night is here once again, and that means it's time for another live recording of the Auburn Experience podcast. We always have Auburn Potpourri coming your way to talk about the latest Auburn news and 2 major topics. Let's get into all those things for episode 158 right now. David Housel described it best. We are living the whole of the Auburn experience. You can quantify it, you can qualify it through a variety of methods, time, people, places, and things. But at its heart and at its core, the Auburn experience is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, and Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it, though, if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. So thank you so much for joining us for episode 158 this evening on a very chilly in the Southeast evening, for especially whether you're in Auburn or the surrounding areas or just anywhere around the country. I bet it's cold anywhere. I guess I feel like every episode I talk more and more about the weather, which means I'm getting older, Austin. But here he is, the co-host, also equally as old, maybe not so much, back in chair number 2. Good to have you back, sir.
Not equally as old. I'm in my 20s. Don't forget it. No.
Listen, I think you would be older in given your life experiences. You're a little bit ahead of me in some of the fatherhood categories and stuff like that. So, you know,
the BOGO special kind of makes that happen for sure.
The BOGO special. I never thought about it that way, but it's so true. How was that BOGO special for you?
That BOGO special was a shock, is what it was. It was a coupon I did not plan on using.
Man,
it's funny how the Lord hands you those sometimes.
It
is cold. You're right. It's freezing cold. It's been cold all week, especially in the Auburn area. I did see from everyone's favorite meteorologist. I'd say that tongue in cheek because some people, it's not his favorite, but there was looked like the live cam caught some flurries early in the morning on the Lovelace Village. I was not awake, but and there was no sign but some ice when I got up this morning. So no snow this time. I did see you've seen the trend of is 2016 again. I don't really get why that decided to start.
Apparently I've got to do some stuff like that or whatever, you know.
Well, it's not like 2026. I don't know. It's not a round number. It's nothing like that. It's just kind of strange that 2016
10 years
is what everyone's bringing.
Right.
But we could do this every year. But
we could.
2016 though was 10 years ago. We'd be in my sophomore year, and there was a big snow. That was the big snow of when I was
before
in school.
The big snow.
Before last year's big snow, but there was a big snow. We got out for several days. Had a big snowball fight on. I did 2 big snowball fights. My roommates and I went up to Sanford 10 years ago, at 1 a.m. when as it started snowing, and there were tons of people there doing a snowball fight. And then we slept through late the next morning, got up and went back and did another one with a bunch of friends. So those came up on my memories this morning, that it was snowing 10 years ago too.
Well, I mean, we're just a few days away from the 1-year anniversary of that mega snow last year, which again, I continue to ask people, go back and check out videos and content everywhere from us and others. Just go relive that glorious day that it was. I have one saved, I think pretty much on all of our social media, the little reel I put together of that day. And it just only encapsulates a portion of how awesome that day was. So when I saw that there was snow, flurries or whatever in Auburn, I was like, are you kidding me? And I'm missing it again, or I don't want to miss it after last year. But hey, listen, the winter is still somewhat young. Maybe we'll get lucky again and Auburn will have a freeze warning.
Oh dear.
With that. Sorry. I was wondering if I could bring that in or not and not stir up some people, but There you go. A little bit of flurries on the plains right there. We've already got like a filled up Auburn Potpourri segment, but before we get to that, maybe just something else that I want to bring up to you, Austin. I don't know if you're running into it as much in your circles of friends and things like that, but I'm getting asked a lot lately about how the baseball team is looking, which tells me that there's a lot of discussion,
excitement.
a lot of chatter. Even after last year's disappointing ending, you know, I mean, you only took down or got taken down by what some people say should have been the champions of college baseball, but one of the best teams in Coastal Carolina. I've been getting asked that almost daily now on live streams that I do, other things. What's the baseball team look like? So, I mean, there are preseason polls out there. I think number 9 in D1 baseball is what I saved in our little links. But I mean, how are you feeling about this? What should I be telling people? Because we haven't necessarily sat down together yet outside of looking at the schedule and really just said, hey, this is what the team should be. You know, this is what the team's going to look like, all that kind of stuff. I mean, what's this excitement that everybody's getting into?
Well, on the heels of this week, the literal answer to your question of what the team would look like is they're going to look pretty good. If you saw the uniforms, the video,
I knew I was going to segue you up for that right there. Clint is smiling so hard right now.
They look pretty good, and those baby blues look really good, and I think everyone will enjoy seeing those in their rotation this year. But you know, everyone knows, and I think you're seeing it reflected in these preseason polls, that Auburn had a lot of really young talent last year that was all over the field, all the pitching staff, and everybody was really excited to see what this team could be with all the recruits that were contributing immediately, or all the freshmen that were contributing immediately. Well, the majority of them are all back. And so I think that people are really excited to see what they can do with a big offseason, with some added talent, and now another year in the SEC where they've already had success and that's why I think you're seeing, I think like you said, I just totally blanked on the D1 baseball had them top 10. I think Perfect Game had them top 10. So there's a lot that are coming and that are high on this Auburn team. And I think rightfully so. I think a lot of people should be excited about it. And I certainly am. I can't wait for it. I feel, you know, not that I'm not always excited for it, because I am, but for me, because of just how basketball overlaps and the what the spring semester is, it takes me kind of getting into SEC play is when I really kind of lock in, and I feel a little bit more inclined to be excited and really follow it, you know, pitch by pitch. From the get-go. And I think that has a lot to do with a lot of the likable guys, a lot of young talent on the team we're going to see back.
Yeah. The reason I'm getting at that question is because I wonder, is the questions I'm getting more often now because of the perceived less than year for Auburn men's basketball thus far? People are already trying to move on. I think some of that's at play, and I think that's very ill-advised, to be honest with you, because I don't think we should ever, you know, take away from one or diminish the value of the other because the other's not doing good. I hope that's not the case, but maybe it is just genuine excitement about what people saw last year, the young talent, and some of the preseason prognostications. They don't mean as much sometimes as we think, but hey, listen, you know, it's something to be excited about. But it's just been intriguing, especially over the last week and even then some, how often that topic's coming up. From just random people too. Not, I mean, regulars that we have here on our variety of shows, but all that. So I think there is some at least genuine excitement about what this season could look like for Auburn baseball. And we're just in January. It was a month, I think, this week to Auburn baseball beginning.
That's not far though. That is not long.
It is not. So we'll certainly be talking about them a whole lot, softball as well, as we get closer to the time there, but we got to see if we're going to get one more Auburn snow day, which I would be thrilled to come spend another week there. Although that means that I've got to probably I have a couple options of people who I could stay with. I don't know who would want to put up with me for a week like last time, like my cousins did. But
look, you know what you're getting if you come this way. So you just take that into account.
I think somebody would have to take into account that they have to put up with me. Maybe somebody watching for a week if we got stuff together.
Yeah.
But anyway, that being said, obviously we'll take it if we get another Auburn snow day, even if Austin has to get stuck with that bringing it all back around BOGO deal that he got a couple years ago for a week.
That's right.
Auburn potpourri time. Let's dive into it. You could almost call this just 2 mini segments because there's a lot to talk about within those, but it's certainly worthy of doing that. Austin, I will let you take your pick. Would you like to talk Auburn in the pros or Auburn transfer portal first?
Let's go Auburn in the pros, because I think while we're talking right now, there's a game going on, so might as well hit it all fresh.
Yeah, so we are talking about this just for timestamp sakes. On a Sunday evening, there are still NFL games going on right now. There's been a lot of that. Auburn put out their who's playing in the playoffs, and they'll certainly do that if and when some people make it to the Super Bowl as well. So be looking for who you can cheer on if you don't have an NFL team. I don't particularly have one. I do usually root for the best interests of the Auburn players out there. But I think we need to start with probably the biggest of the NFL stories that relates to Auburn. And I think most people would agree with that given the last 24 hours. Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. I know. He just can't catch a break, can he? He gets good things.
He caught a break. It just didn't. It happened to be in his ankle. You just poisoned more of it.
I didn't mean it like that, and you just made it even worse.
I didn't make it worse. No, Bo Nix has had an incredible year for the Denver Broncos, and in his second year as a pro, takes them all the way to the AFC Championship game after beating the Buffalo Bills yesterday, but he won't get to play in the AFC Championship game due to a fractured ankle toward the end of the game. So has had a great year and did absolutely phenomenal getting them there. The Auburn bright side spot is that Jarrett Stidham, his backup, who we've documented on this pretty frequently, will get to lead them into the AFC Championship, and however further along they get to go after that.
The cool thing about this, whether it's just how the dynamics have shaped out with this, Jarrett was here right before Bo got here. In fact, there was maybe a little bit of mentorship going on as he stepped into what would eventually be his role as a true freshman as Auburn's quarterback. And boy, that journey that he had to be on while he was here, and probably resulted in one of his ankle breaks already. Probably part of the reason that this happened. I don't know if it was the same ankle. Lord, please help it.
I've wondered that too. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to know the answer probably, because I want so much for Bo to have good things after what he had to put up with here. And certainly he, as much as it pained to see him have success with Oregon, it was a good thing, especially after some of the flack that some of you all out there gave him, which makes you look like idiots now. I literally heard the words, he'll never make it in the NFL. And I'm just like, how stupid all of you look right now. So anyway, if you want to see me just going off, go find the Auburn. It was the first game of Auburn's first season without Bo, and then Georgia and Oregon were playing, and they were getting shellacked, and nobody would even talk about our game that we just won in that, and we're just dogging on Bo. And I'm like, y'all are gonna regret this. Anyway, doesn't matter. Jarrett Stidham is getting the opportunity to now lead the orange and blue of the Broncos. Again, that's just wild that it's not very often that Auburn has two quarterbacks of any significance, but on the same team, and then one gets hurt and the other gets to step in there. I'm not saying that Jarrett's about to have a generational run or something like that, or this Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady thing, but it would just be so cool because we've seen it happen before, like your Brock Purdy's and things, and other people,
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles is who I was thinking of. Yeah, that would be so cool, and it would tie Auburn in so nicely to this. So I would love to see it.
Yeah, no, it definitely would, and I think I saw Nick Foles post earlier today of take a little jab at the Patriots, because who they'll be playing next week, and he was the backup in their Super Bowl win. But Jarrett's got a great chance. I mean, it's against a team that drafted him. It's going to be a opportunity for him. Obviously, he has the whole week now to prepare, and guys at that level prepare every week just in case. And so he's had great preseason games when he's had the chance to command the whole game and command the offense for the entire time. And obviously, it is a big big opportunity at the AFC Championship and however much longer that the Broncos keep winning for him to be the starting quarterback. So pulling for him, pull it for Jarrett, and hope they can go as far as they're able to with him. Is there anyone on the other side of that game on the Patriots that
you
you're
would ask
aware
me
of? Of course.
Oh, yes. Who is it?
Is Carlton Davis there now?
Carlton Davis, because he got 2 picks today. That's
okay.
what it was.
There,
2 interceptions today.
How about
there
that?
it is, Rob. I knew you as soon as you said, I was like, I just saw it today. But yes, so there's options abounding for Auburn in the NFL for you to cheer for. But I think right now the coolest story is the Jarrett Stidham one, especially since he finished his career at Auburn. And so you won't even have that argument. I was like, well, Bo went to Oregon, so it's Auburn and Oregon. No, this is an Auburn quarterback. He finished his career at Auburn. So really cool story there. We got to bring up Dylan. Dylan is having a week in the NBA. And from my understanding, it's not like he's even putting up statistically those humongous of numbers out there, but he's just showing up in big ways. And
he's doing what he did here. Yeah,
exactly. But it all started with his, and I'm going to put quotations around this, and I think he would have no problems with it, a block of LeBron. He stopped LeBron James,
right.
And it was a miracle that he didn't flop. I mean, it was just crazy. But Dylan had an opportunity to put the King down, and he did. The King could not get his layup or dunk or whatever he was going in there for, and then that thing started circulating. Dylan Carwell has been doing that. I mean, he's been showing some other great highlights as well. And then what we've really seen is this embracement of the Kings fans, Sacramento Kings, for those of you that don't watch the NBA, seeing the side of Dylan that won him over to the people here at Auburn, his charisma, his likability, his energy. And then also, hey, he's really actually a very good basketball player on top of that. It's kind of a shocker. He made an NBA squad. So this has been also an extra special week for Auburn in the pros, watching Dylan. And this, I mean, if you are a true Auburn person, Austin, this has got to make you just over the moon happy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Dylan is the one that, flew under the radar on the court as far as with Janai, and rightfully so. I mean, Janai was SEC Player of the Year, who also dropped a 50 burger, by the way, in his G League game.
Yep.
But to be able to see Dylan, who I think is still on a 2-way contract, but play a lot of his minutes are already at the big level with the Sacramento Kings, you have to think that's getting converted soon and that he's going to be up there full time pretty soon. Has been blocking. Obviously, his defensive capabilities have never been in question with his height, but is throwing down the dunks, catching alley-oops, making jump shots we didn't know he even had. Just doing an incredible job so far. And like you said, most of all, the Kings fans are just obsessed with this guy based on how he's reacting and playing with the joy of the game. He's always called it. And I just love it. I love seeing it, and I'm incredibly happy for him.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch this week in general with Auburn and the pros, but I think, like I said, Dylan has made that extra special because of how much he has endeared himself to the Auburn fan base. This is an extra way for the Auburn fan base who doesn't maybe connect with the NBA as much to find that connection point there. So we are always going to be Dylan Cardwell fans here as the ultimate Auburn man, I think, of at least this generation. And we're going to celebrate him. So, I mean, Auburn in the NBA this week has been great because you had Dylan with the way he's just captured the hearts and minds. You had, as you brought up, Janai Broome, 50 points in the G League, and surely he'll get another opportunity when he keeps doing stuff like that. In fact, there was an article I saw when I was just doing research about his game about did the Sixers make a mistake on Janai Broome, and then he just drops 50 points in a game like it's nothing, showing the ability that he still can shoot as a big man from the 3-point arc. I think this got missed too for the G League performance as well. Sharif Cooper almost had a triple. It was either an almost triple double for him as well this week. So if you're an Auburn and NBA fan,
is he with Washington D.C.? The DC
I think
team?
so. I think that's who it was. I could and shouldn't. I've already had that pulled up for you, but I just didn't want that to get slipped by either.
And we're doing recon on the fly here, so I apologize. But
Capital
Chaney
City
Johnson
Go-Go.
got 5. Okay,
Wizards,
how about that?
Wizards. Yeah.
And Chaney Johnson got an opportunity recently, right?
Like you are correct. Something like that as well. So Auburn in the NBA, man, if you don't want to, if you've never had an opportunity to get into it, now's the time to be doing that because it's a lot going on there. Anything else, Auburn in the pros? I think we've hit the majority of it, or is there anything else that you wanted to drop in here on Auburn in the
I
pros?
guess, yeah, Cheney got signed 3 weeks ago, so I'm behind. But
It's okay. We'll just
no,
throw that
I mean,
number on
by the Nets. But no, I mean, I think it's certainly a good time to follow some Auburn alums and Auburn players, and they're all doing their thing respectively. So it's exciting. I'm sure I don't keep up with the NBA as much as I used to, but I'm sure Jabari Smith is still having a great year with the Rockets, and I've seen a lot this year about him learning from Kevin Durant. Obviously, we talked about that when Kevin Durant was signed with the Rock or traded to the Rockets, whatever, about the opportunity for him. And I think I've seen some quotes from both of them about how much they're able to spend time together, and I'm sure that can only help Jabari.
Absolutely. Let's talk about transfer portal. We'll go from talking about Auburn and the pros to basically the pros with the transfer portal and contracts and all that kind of stuff. As we've said the last couple episodes, it's pretty much going to be for at least maybe a week or two more, a major topic that we have to try to hit. Do we have a guest live on the show?
We do have a guest.
Can we have a guest? I want this.
Brooks,
bring it in.
Just bring him in here.
Bring him in here live on the show.
Have you seen that CNN bit from a few years ago when Emily was about to crawl in here like in the mall? Look,
yes,
say
sir.
Hi. Can you say hi?
What's going on?
Can you wave? You can't hear. Here, let me turn. You want to come in here too?
Let's make this a thing. I can.
This is happening live on the radio. Hang on.
This is why you watch the live portion of the show, because this happens live.
Look, there's Mr. Kyle. Come here.
Hello.
Y'all say hi. Yeah, that's him.
Hey, boys. It's like the best version of Auburn potpourri that we've ever done.
Y'all say hi. Can you wave?
Austin, you can go. It'd just be me and the boys now having a conversation.
This is Brooks and this is Barrett. Can y'all say hello? No. Tell everybody what we did yesterday. Where'd we go? Well, we went. That was today. We went to church today. Where did we go yesterday?
Playground.
No, we didn't go to the playground. Did we go watch basketball?
Yeah.
Who played basketball?
That's awesome.
Who played basketball yesterday?
Brookies.
No, not Brooksy. Auburn. Remember Auburn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did y'all see Abby?
Yeah.
No, Abby was. Where was Abby? Do you remember where Abby was?
Oh yeah.
Say it again, Brooks.
Mickey Mouse.
He was with Mickey Mouse. He was in
what?
Disney.
I forgot about that. How cool would that be, boys, to go see Auburn or see Abby with Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, you can take that book. Yeah, Abby was with Mickey Mouse.
I mean, that's another little segment we forgot to talk about. Austin and Auburn potpourri. So they're already pros on the podcast.
I know. They bring their own content. All right. Are y'all ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you wave bye-bye, everybody? Say bye. Say War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle, boys.
All right.
Thanks for stopping in.
Night. Thanks for coming.
No, this is awesome. I appreciate this very much. We exploit children for entertainment here. I'm kidding. I don't even know if Austin could hear what I just said. But
there you go.
What a time on episode 158. That was the perfect time for them to cut in too, because we hadn't started the next bit.
I have never felt more like a meme than when I saw that door open and I went.
I almost shared I'm just gonna say it, the crotch moment for you of the computer, because that was 3 years ago this week. But anyway, so that almost was we had almost a moment like there.
Yeah, that was wild. Sorry about that.
You're good. That was actually hey, listen, that's what Auburn potpourri is for, so they couldn't have timed it any better. All right, like we said,
my brother listening to this tomorrow is gonna get a kick out of that.
Listen, hey, that's anything we can get right here on Auburn potpourri. Transfer portal stuff. Obviously, we'll keep talking about it as much as we can. Window has closed. Everybody who is going to be into the transfer portal is there, but there are still right? It's done, right? You should have. I think I've seen this a lot this week. Okay.
By Friday at midnight, you should have told your school what your plans are. They have 48 hours business days to get it done. With a holiday on Monday, we will likely continue to hear about people through Wednesday.
Okay. Okay.
But
thank you for the clarification.
There is an end in sight. You hope.
Okay.
And that's
Well,
like you were alluding to. That's just to get in. You can still
Yeah.
take visits, commit, and all that. But at some point too, you got to get into class. I hope.
I mean, do they
Do
really
you?
at this point?
Yeah.
Like we heard of some of that this week from some other commentary,
Yeah,
other
that's
sports.
crazy.
It is what it is with the transfer portal at this point. Here, there's a list of people. It's not too long of new people that I believe we were not able to touch on last week just because of how it all lined up. Tristan Tia, I believe is how you pronounce it, new quarterback for Auburn.
Yes.
Cole Skinner, I don't remember he was mentioned. Offensive line, Shamar Arnaud, cornerback, Cole Best, offensive line, Jacob Stroud, offensive line, Walter Mathis Jr., defensive line, TJ Hedrick, offensive line, Scrap, with probably the name of the transfer portal, cornerback, and Deshaun Womack, defensive end. And we have 2 jacks that have been added. Only one I'm seeing on my list currently. One's a safety, but
Jack
the other one on the
Luttrell
list. Yes.
From Arizona, the safety, and Jack Lear, an offensive tackle from Stanford.
Thank you for taking that name. I was going to struggle through it. So
that's what I was going. That's one of my best guesses.
All right. So there's your, at least from last Sunday to now, this Sunday evening, your list of Auburn transfer portal. So Austin, I'm going to pose it to you. Who sticks out to you the most from this list that you want to discuss?
Well, I think, the non most attractive on here is as far as what stands out and what people are excited about, I think is going to be Cole Best. But I think when you look at that, you now have the opportunity to have a 6th-year senior as your center with your quarterback who is in his 5th year, and both of them have been with the head coach running an incredibly successful offense. That should elevate the entire offensive line that Auburn's going to have next year. So for me, it's Cole Best. I think that he adds a level of leadership, certainly, but also a level of productivity to this offensive line that we really are excited to see what they can be.
Yeah.
I also, the boys told you, we went to the South Carolina game yesterday. We were given tickets by my dad's coworker. Had a great time. The boys, the first men's basketball game for Brooks and Barrett. So they had a blast. Many snacks were consumed. But we were in the section like where the blue seats make the AU, and there was probably like 5 rows behind us, and then 10 rows up from that, just empty. And there's a huge recruiting day this weekend, high school and portal and all this other stuff. But Cole Best was like right up there with Byron Brown, right behind us, and Cole Best is a massive human being. I was shocked. He is a massive human being.
6'4", 315. So he's not the tallest in the world, but but
just looks huge. Looks like an absolute unit. And so I'm very impressed by him. And I think the continuity between him and Byron Brown and Alex Golish and Joel Gordon, of course, and Coach Tyler Hudnick, all of them being on the same page, which we've talked about at length with the USF editions, but specifically the center and the quarterback and the offensive staff. I feel like elevates the floor and has to do numbers for Auburn's offense.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. You Cole Skinner, as you talked about. I mean, this was a week of just offensive line additions, week extended with Cole Skinner, Cole Best, Jacob Strand. You've also got TJ Hedrick out of Ole Miss, so some SEC talent there. Jack Lear, how do you say that?
Lear is what I was going with.
Lear. See, I
could be totally wrong, but Jack Lear is what I'm going with.
You said it a lot more confidently than I did. So there's that as well. I would like to bring up 2 guys, and both are going to be defensive line, and here's why. Remember last year I talked a lot about when asked who's the person from the portal that you're most intrigued with.
You're going to take this to the grave, aren't you?
Xavier Atkins. I was right. I called it. Okay. Listen, it's one time in being a podcaster that I prognosticated something that was going to be correct. So I'm just intrigued with this. I think SEC experience, people can play this both ways. They'll be like, apply to the USF guys. They're not going to be great. I think that's a dangerous precedent set, but there is something to having SEC experience. So I wonder, especially on that defensive line, with Walter Mathis Jr. coming out of LSU. You've also got now coming out of Ole Miss, Deshaun Womack. That's going to be intriguing, especially with a lot of that talent left there. two very prominent programs. You know, they both have recruited well over the last couple of years. Both have had a similar head coach now. So I know obviously that doesn't really matter in that, but just another little connection. So that's probably who sticks out to me the most. I got to admit, though, probably the only other one we definitely need to mention, Tristan Tia being added to the quarterback room. So now I think some people are having conversations about who would be the backup now. Would it be the previous one that had been at USF? You know, because we've already all acknowledged, and Auburn football did today in a post if you needed any other confirmation that Byron Brown is quarterback one. But do you think Tristan Tia being added in changes anything for the quarterback room?
You know, I think it'll be him or Lachlan Hewitt, the former freshman at South Florida. They both have about the same amount of experience. But you know, I think Tristan Tia has game experience more so than Lachlan Hewitt at Oregon State, but Lachlan Hewitt obviously knows Alex Gole's system or has a leg up in learning it. And so I think that quarterback two debate or battle will be interesting to watch and see. Obviously both really young. So, you know, there's no question that's kind of what you're looking for. If you're looking for another quarterback in the portal, everybody knows who is Auburn's starting quarterback once Byron Brown is signed. Like, he's got 1 year left. Obviously the accolades speak for themselves. So you can't really convince a guy that may be thinking they want to play immediately to come in here and be QB2 right away, unless they have a little more eligibility. Then you look at all the numbers and whatever else could be. This is kind of what you get. But I think they're both very intriguing options and very good potential options for Auburn. But I think when you throw in Tristan Tia, Lachlan Hewitt, and then I want to say Reese Skinner
Reese Brush.
Who's Reese Skinner, Austin?
The Cole Skinner. You're combining the
thank you.
Line.
Okay,
not
crazy.
Well.
Reese Brush, I think, is probably your 4 there. I mean, I don't think you take too many more scholarship quarterbacks in this day and age, but I think that's very interesting. I really like what you said about Deshaun Womack and Walter Mathis Jr. I think both could be really good for Auburn.
Yeah.
And I don't think the stats necessarily speak for themselves on Deshaun Womack. I think there's differences.
They didn't really
in
with
the
Xavier
scheme.
Atkins either. So
correct.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see, but you know, I like the group this staff has put together already, and I think they've addressed some needs. I think they could still address some more, but they're also building for the future. You see a lot of young guys in this portal class. I'm just looking down the list and see Tia, freshman, Arnu, a freshman, Walter Mathis Jr. was a freshman, Hedrick, a freshman, Scrap Richardson, freshman. Like, there's building for the future with guys. And if you look at them, I think a lot of people got mixed up in this, thinking that it was just a focus on high school recruiting. But if you look at these guys, a lot of them are coming back closer to home. They're all over the place at their colleges or whatnot. But Alex Golesh told you pretty adamantly in his first opening press conference that they were looking at a radius. And a lot of these guys are from Georgia. And I think if you look at the most successful times in Auburn football history, you see a roster filled with people from the state of Georgia. And so I'm okay with it so far, and I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I think you should be. There's a lot to be like so far. And like we've been saying, we're not done anytime soon, probably talking about the transfer portal. That'll wrap it up for potpourri. Let's jump into main topics this evening. We're going to talk basketball first this week. It's been a very eventful up and down week for both men's and women's. A little bit probably more on the positive vibes, especially for women's basketball. Let's start right there, because I think that's probably the big thing that was really exciting for people this week. We've already broken down last week where they got walloped by number 2 Texas, but bounced back for their first SEC win. Today, how did they do today? I actually didn't check in. I would assume it was.
They did not play.
They did. Okay, that's why I was like,
they're off.
I was like, I should have heard a score today, and I didn't hear one. That's why.
About 2:30 or something. I was like, hey, what are the women doing?
Where's the women's basketball updates? I need those. But this week, big enough story of an Auburn versus Alabama first-year head coach for the Auburn women's basketball team being there. This is a big moment. If you can notch a victory just against Alabama, it sends a lot of positive vibes out there, but also against a ranked Alabama opponent. And I think the stat was they had not lost to a unranked opponent in like 12 games or something like that. Or it was a little bit
something like that. I know they only had one loss, and it was South Carolina, which they were ranked. If I'm just going to go out on a limb there and say that.
I think they were doing just
so yeah, I mean, probably this year, obviously, they hadn't lost to an unranked team, and maybe for some further time back is there.
This is one of those moments that I think in a first-year head coach, you look back on and you start setting pillars for the foundation. And you check that box. You knocked off not only Alabama, but a ranked Alabama team. And it was a very hard-fought game. Alabama made it very scary at the end there. So they weathered the storm. They led for the majority of the game and kind of were in control of it for the whole thing. So I think that kind of shows you right there, even with all of the roster attrition that they went through, changing over to a new scheme, a new way of doing things, the uncertainty that comes with that. This team is ready to compete with at least some of the SEC, maybe not the Texases quite yet, as we saw last week with that margin of victory. But I'm very encouraged by this. I know the team was. Talked a lot about, I saw the quote from him about DeWanda Bonner just asked, please, I don't care what you do this year, just please beat Alabama. So
that's
check.
Great.
For them this week.
No,
just a fun week.
I think they're closer to the middle of the league than a lot of people think. And I've been really high on them since I first saw them play. I just think that they're well coached. Coach Vickers is very intense, and I think they have shooters. And they don't quit. And I think when the talent is close to equal or close to being something that they feel confidence with, they can compete about, they show it, and they show that they're not going to be willing to back down. And they certainly did that in Neville Arena against Alabama. And like you said, a ranked Alabama team, a second SEC win. Just a great night, and the crowd looked amazing. There was this like subsect of Bammers in the student section. I don't know who let those chumps in, but thank goodness that we got them out of there with an L. And man, it just looked like seeing Reverse Rammer Jammer done with the women's basketball team, and Coach Vickers soaking it in his first. That's some good stuff right there. Yeah. That's a good start to the new year.
I love in his post game press conference where he said, I love that song and I've got to learn the words to it. I mean, if you keep doing it, you will have plenty of opportunities to reverse Rammer Jammer them. So
that's hysterical.
And you can see a lot of the new players with the, just new roster they have. We're kind of confused a little bit, but hey, listen, we're mainly thankful for the victory, but certainly y'all do need to get acquainted with Reverse Rammer Jammer, because hopefully you'll be doing that a lot.
Please.
And sending I think it's called Crimson Chaos is their student section that traveled. Send them that trash out of there. I'm sorry. I'm getting mean.
Get them out.
Get them out. All right. Men's this week, a little bit of an up and down week. Certainly Auburn's fan base has never once been a little bit overreactive, looking for clicks and trying to ride the wave of the hyperbole and things like that.
Never.
You go to Missouri this week, and I think a lot of people are really reacting to the name more than looking at record and what this team from Missouri is capable of doing. Auburn does fall on the road in Columbia, unfortunately, and I think that upset a few people. 74-84, much closer than the score actually indicates there. But obviously, they bounce back with another close and maybe slightly unnerving win at home versus South Carolina. Lamont Paris is not too far removed from being SEC Coach of the Year. Once again, folks, the SEC right now may not be considered as good as it was last year, but it is still a good basketball conference. So the fact that Auburn struggles with a name is not the story. It's what's the full story, the full context of this season. So I think obviously the disappointment in Missouri is understandable, but it's not about the loss. It's about how you respond to the loss. And I think they were able to show that. A couple things from this week I think are important for us to discuss. Let's start with the good stuff. Breakout game for Mr. Jovic. I mean, this is the stuff that I was hoping was going to happen. A lot of people were on this kid about he's not ready. Why did we go get him from the European League? It's almost like he got here a little late and needed time to adjust. And then be able to show what he could do. Coach said that he literally told them, Philip, I need you to go score. And boy, did he. 23 points, wasn't it, Austin? I think is what his
23 is, I think is what it was.
career
Or was
game.
it? Yeah, 23 sounds right. Yeah, no, I looked up and told my dad next to me, I said, he's got 20 points. And it didn't feel like that just because it's not flashy, right? Like it's not, I think he tried to take 1 3 and it was abysmal. And so the rest was at the rim, but just hustle plays, does not quit running, just keeps going. And I think that you saw that it show up in the stat sheet for him. He obviously said post game with E2C Network, I think he said, I don't care if we don't next week or next game. I don't care if I score. No, I just want to win. But for this time and for this production, it showed up in the box score on the points spread too. And so I think really good to see for him, but just does not quit. And I think Auburn would love to see more of that aggression from him. I loved what he said when he talked about coach asked him to stop passing the ball. He said, yes, coach. And it's just like, okay, done. And that's what he did. And I hope we see more of that because Auburn could benefit greatly, I think, from a post presence that is feared, but is also one that they can rely on. Obviously, in this game, Keyshawn Hall gets in really early foul trouble and just never gets to get going. Tahad Pettiford, kind of stabilized things. The 3-point shooting was not there for anyone on the team all night. And then you look at the Missouri game, and Keyshawn Hall and Todd Bedford both struggle. And when that happens, you're looking at really dire needs. And so to have Philip Jovic show what he's capable of and what he could be the rest of the year for Auburn, I think you have to be really optimistic about.
Yeah, I think one of the things we talked about a lot last year in relation to Janai, what does this team look like without Janai? And we got that answered a lot because he was injured a lot. And they still looked really good at time, most of the time, if not all the time.
Yeah.
Same thing can be asked here. What happens when your best scorer is not doing, he's either injured or not doing what he's supposed to be doing? That's been this week with Keyshawn Hall. So that's what I ask Auburn fans to look at. Yeah, the emotions are frustrating of losing on the road and being a little bit behind in SEC standings and things right now. But this team has showed you that they can still compete even when their best scorer is not doing what he's supposed to do. He had an off night. He just got into a bunch of foul trouble for South Carolina. So to me, that's the bigger takeaway of this week is that with Keyshawn Hall struggling, with Tahad Pettiford not, doing what people were expecting him to do offensively, but still doing some very good stuff that people aren't giving him credit for, such as delivering the ball to everybody and playing great defense, especially at Missouri. I think that's something that Auburn fans really need to look harder at with this team and be happy about this win. I'm not saying that the ship is all righted and everything's going to be perfect from this point forward, but to me, this was a great week for Auburn fans. If you're willing to remove your emotions out and be level-headed, I know that's difficult for some of you. You got the ability to see that, yeah, this team may not be what you maybe made yourself believe it was going to be, but currently they can compete with the SEC, and that's all you can really ask for at this point. What else from this week?
They weren't going to be last year. Kyle and I talked about that pre-show, and some of you still can't figure that out. They were not going to be the number one team, the number one overall seed, and the greatest team in Auburn basketball history. It just wasn't going to happen. That doesn't happen a lot for programs back to back, and it also doesn't happen when you lose the amount of production that they had on top of a coaching change a month before the season starts. And I know some of you, well, that's not discussion for another day, but there's too much. There's too much that was changing from last year to this year for that team to be that. And also it was just a generational run for Auburn basketball last year. So settle in, enjoy this team. There's so much they're still figuring out. It's very obvious, but it's a long conference schedule way to go. And again, I'm not high on the SEC this year in general. I just don't think. I think they're reaping the benefits greatly of how great the league was last year when there's just not an elite team and an elite powerhouse this year, and they're all kind of beating each other up. And so no one knows what will happen come March. We got a long way to go. But there's certainly a case to be made that it's wide open in the league right now.
Yeah, it certainly is a case to be made there. Maybe a little more parity than people want to believe, and things aren't as bad as maybe Auburn fans think it is. Shocker right there. We'll lay off the Auburn fans a little bit. I feel like we've gone in on them this week, but you kind of brought it on yourselves, folks. Sometimes we love you, but just because sometimes we got to be honest with you about not the collective more than individuals and things like that when it gets out there on social media. So highs and lows. Philip Jovic is certainly your biggest story of the week. Certainly the lower story was that. Let me just ask before we move on. We've got 5 games of SEC play currently with Auburn men's basketball. You have a loss. The records show 2 losses to start off here. I think one is questionable. To Georgia, who is ranked, Texas A&M, who's a very good basketball team, a big win over a dominance of Arkansas, who's a very good team, Missouri loss, and then a South Carolina win. So you're 2-3 on the year. I'm asking you to think back a little bit to what we kind of predicted here. Are we a little bit behind course where you thought we'd be, on track? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can say they're behind course. I think that we both probably thought. I don't remember what I said, but I feel like I was thought they would get a handle on A&M and a handle on Missouri. That kind of flips it the other way, and then you're looking at 3-2, 4-1, however it shakes out. I don't think that, because it's not like they've been getting blown out, and I think that because of that, you see steps that can be taken. So yeah, I think they're a little bit behind. I don't think anybody expected Auburn to have a losing conference record after the first 5, but there's certainly a long way to go to rectify that.
Absolutely. So plenty of season left to go, miles to go before we sleep in Auburn men's and women's basketball season. Last major topic this evening, we are going to talk schedule updates. This is almost as frequent as construction updates, although we haven't had a ton of those as of late. But we're going to do a variety of stuff.
Give it time.
I know, it's just wait. But there's some things, especially for football, that we need to talk about that are important for the Auburn fan base to be aware of for the spring 2026 season. And then if we have some time, some other things as well. So let's start right here with the announcement that's probably the most important of one of the next few months, is when Auburn A-Day was going to be. Austin and I did a lot of speculation about this. We talked about when, it might need to fall. One of the troubles that you always have are Easter and the Masters, and they don't like to have those conflicting with either of two of those. I would argue that maybe Easter is a little bit more important than Masters, so let's not conflict with Easter, if we're going to make the two. Well, they went a different route this year, or not different, but just the one that most people are probably happy with, on either weekend. So not the first weekend of April, not the second weekend, the third Saturday in April. It will be here, and that would be I don't have it right here in front of me, Austin. I think it's April 18th or something.
18th, yeah, that's what I remember.
Look at me pulling that out of the back somewhere. So that's good. We know when to be there, and I think there's a couple elements that we need to talk about that. Let's start with just the facts, and I've got an opinion that I want to get from you and see if we share the sentiment about it. This year, it is going to be supposedly a traditional Auburn spring game. Would I take that to mean we're actually going to line 2 different teams up at the very least, play football, no cutesy point scoring systems? I think that's a fair assumption at this point. So reportedly the band is going to be there. I'm assuming cheerleaders, Aubie, all that stuff. So
that was big news at our house.
I bet as soon as I heard that, I was like, I know some little boys.
That means we're going.
So I would assume, Austin, that you are very excited about this announcement for Auburn A-Day.
I am. I'm really excited about it. I'm really glad that it's back to the traditional format. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think you might see a lot of other schools go back to that. It went away. We talked about the pros and cons of this going away in the back last couple of years, just because there was another portal window and guys were getting poached after having good years or good spring games, which is just silly. But thankfully, the portal window is no longer going to be around that time. There's not another one. We're done with it, as we just talked about, and so or almost done with it. But to have a spring game like that has not been had in a long time, and I'm really excited to see it again. Praying right now. Start praying now, folks, for good weather.
Oh, can you imagine?
Because it would be great. It would be great. It sounds like there's going to be the traditional post-game signing of autographs on the field. I just
Tiger
feel like
walk as well to start off everything.
I just feel like we're going back in time. I love it.
So what I'm going to ask the Auburn fan base here is collectively, for a couple of reasons here. You don't have Easter conflicting. You don't have the Masters conflicting. You don't have anything else conflicting. We'll get there. You have all of the bells and whistles of a Tiger walk, of the band, the cheerleaders. I mean, this is built for families to be at. I understand this isn't like post-championship Iron Bowl or the last roll, or Iron Bowl or the A-Day or the last roll. I understand we're probably going to do well just to get like the other halves, maybe not the full bowl, but the sideline portions of the bowl filled in.
Yeah.
I would request, especially if it's excellent weather, Auburn fans, let's show out for Coach Galesh in the first year. Like, come on into this. This is built for you. There's no other distractions, literally, and you can come and focus on this and make this a game day atmosphere. And I would say that's kind of what maybe we're leaning into here, the way this was announced and described and planned and all that kind of stuff. So that's a charge I have for the Auburn family. I mean, Lord willing, I will be there as well. I have full plans to be there and cover all these things for you guys. And it sounds like the Scott crew is also going to be there too. So that's my charge to you as the Auburn fan base. Here's what I want to ask, Austin. And I think if I'm going to be positive about it, I also got to talk about the thing maybe I'm a little bit grumpy about. And do you want to guess what that is about A-Day?
A-Day? No. What's wrong?
It's always been A-Day weekend for a reason. We usually plan it on a weekend to showcase all of the Auburn experience, which is what you and I, if you go back to A-Days past, we have really, pushed about. This is not just a game. It is a weekend. Now they're calling it A-Day week. And I think that's a little bit of a stretch because they want you to attend all the things before. And the last one is basically on a Tuesday before A-Day. So I think we're pushing things there. I appreciate them giving love to everybody. And I know that they're recognizing that this is a mere criticism and just a preference thing for me. I do wish that we had sacrificed conflicting maybe with the Masters this week. And maybe there's other things I'm not aware of it would have conflicted with too. I think my preference is we would have done it the week before so that we could actually have other Auburn events. I think softball and baseball were there the weekend before too. And maybe that's why, because they were planning on doing this big one and they knew how congested things would get for the weekend. But that's what A-Day weekend's supposed to be about. I mean, am I just being grumpy about this, or
no?
How do you feel?
I understand, and I think there's probably a lot of people who do make a weekend out of it, especially when there's so many things to hit on that weekend. I noticed, like you, when there was such a push about A-Day week, I was like, yeah, I'm not sure people are staying the whole week for this. But that does take a little bit out of it. And I think that we'll have to factor that in as we talk about our weekends to get to Auburn here pretty soon. Now that things are rolling back in. So, I do think that's unfortunate how they did it, but I think there's been a lot of conversation for them in the past about how do they get off these weekends and how can they not have things conflict. Yeah. You and I both, I think, are on the same page that the Masters is not that big of a conflict for me. And from what I hear, nobody can get tickets anyway. So I don't understand how there's that many people who are having a conflict going to the Masters versus coming to A-Day. There's lots of TVs around Auburn. We are not in the.
There's a brand new one outside the student center too.
I mean, that'd be a pretty great. You could serve all your fancy chicken salad sandwiches or whatever for $1 out there at the new spring game thing, or the new TV thing. But they're not doing that. So it is what it is. I'm with you though. I think a lot of people should be excited to be coming to this A-Day game because I think it will be a lot of fun. If it's a traditional format, I think you could see a lot of points and a lot of touchdowns and get excited even further about the year.
And make just wild assumptions about how the season is going to go.
The
spring game.
All the overreactions.
At least they'll be positive. Hopefully they will be. But that's your update for that schedule. We got some 2020 6, football schedule updates. We already know the games, not
Yes.
times yet. That'll probably be the next update we get, is like the first 3 or so games they usually announce times for. If they have not done that already, I'm unaware of that. But what we do now know is 2 games, what their theme is going to be. And this goes back to something Austin and I have also talked about. We're going to talk about homecoming and when it should happen and what games it should happen against. We have said our piece about that. I think it's maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago that we discussed this, when we thought it should happen. We did predict, I think correctly, where it would fall on the Vanderbilt game. Is that what we predicted, to your recollection?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what we preferred, right? Like that.
No.
No, not preferred, like all in all, but with realistic, what we know what Auburn normally does. I think that's what we preferred of the group. Am I wrong in that? I think that's what, knowing that they were probably going to do it in September, I think that's what I preferred, is the Vanderbilt game.
Yeah, knowing what they're going to do and what you want, at least for me, are 2 different things. Because I think it was the Arkansas game in like late mid-November.
But we knew that was a long shot.
Yes, I am of the belief that we should not see homecoming in September. We should be seeing it no earlier than October. I think there were some options for that. Beggars can't be choosers, but I certainly glad to know that we have that option, or know what it is. And it's not the first game. The second,
it is later. I was about to say
later.
That. It is later. There is a chance of decent weather.
It could be. Now,
it's a small chance, but there's a chance.
You just set us up for one of those, like, every 10 years, just scorchers of Septembers, right? You understand?
No, they're all scorchers. What I'm setting up is every 10 years is the beautiful one we get graced with on the last weekend of September.
I hope you're right, because I want homecoming to be. I want to be walking on Auburn's campus on homecoming morning, and it just be like I should have put a pullover on, and I forgot to. Like, I want to make that mistake, but it's going to warm up the rest of the day. Like, make me suffer for my stupidity and assuming it was going to be warmer than it was.
You want to be at pregame band practice a little chilly.
I do. I really do.
You want to be running around with Brooks and Barrett because you want to warm up.
I will be doing that if I'm proven wrong by it. But I'm just saying, I'm happy that we've got it figured out, so now people can make their plans. I know some people don't think about it, but homecoming is a big deal for a lot of the Auburn family, and they want to kind of plan their year around this, because it's a good opportunity not just to come for the game, for the family atmosphere of it, but also just meeting back up. It's homecoming. We're all coming back together on this one concentrated day. So Vanderbilt, sorry, you're the victim of it this year. And I think you kind of are used to that, even with some of your success. Pavia won't be here. So at least I hope. I was about to say, I hope. Maybe I just jinxed us on that. That's your announcement. Military appreciation is Arkansas, I believe, the one that we wanted to, at least the one that I wanted to, if you're curious. So that's the other update too. So the 2 important dates that you need to remember, the schedule updates for 2026. For Auburn football are going to be homecoming is now in Vanderbilt, the 3rd home game, the 4th of the year total for the season, and then military appreciation will be later in the year, as it always is for the Arkansas game, unless we got that wrong. But I'm sure we'll kick off on the Plains. We already know about. That's always the first one, and then we're really excited about Florida too. So
it's the second one, but
yeah, I know. Well, you know what I mean. We don't need to go down that path.
Kickoff on the Plains.
Kickoff on the Plains when it should have been and where it should have been is. I was with some Baylor folks this weekend, so we had that discussion again.
Oh man,
not going to start that. Last update I think we have time for tonight is very important, and I should have worn the shirt. I literally pulled it out of the drawer, Austin, and almost put it on tonight, but hadn't given enough love to Auburn golf. Okay. The Outlive game, even with Bruce Pearl not at the helm, certainly he's still very much connected with Auburn, and his son obviously is too, and how important this initiative is to the Pearls, to the Auburn fan base, and dating it back to Tennessee as well, to connect them back to this, making it aware for just cancer and general awareness, but obviously men's cancer. We'll just put it at that. That you need to go and have checked, and obviously just do your due diligence when you're of age of things like that. I've had a father who has passed away of a different type of cancer, but the point of this is just raising awareness around this. It will be, as maybe some expected, was one of the candidates for this was going to be the Kentucky game, and that's what it will be in late February. I'm not shocked that they picked Kentucky. It's probably the most exciting of that time of the year that people are going to be showing up for Auburn. Is there any candidates that you thought would have been better for the outlet game, or you think they picked the best one?
I feel like this is usually what they do if Tennessee's not at home, because
Yeah.
the Outlive game obviously has a connection to both schools. So with Kentucky, it's usually in February. I don't think it gets much further past that or earlier than that.
Right.
It's usually in February. So I think we both, when we did the schedule preview, we kind of talked about that as well with the game day opportunities and things like that, which is still a chance. There's still a chance. I know a lot of people, are down on this team, and look, Kentucky's not having the greatest year either. But we'll have to dive into that soon and see what other games might be that day, and see if Auburn's still got a reasonable shot here at hosting College Game Day, because they certainly love the Outlive story as well.
They do. It's a great tie-in, and it's a great opponent. And even if both teams are just kind of doing a little less than what people thought, it's going to be a great matchup. Kentucky always has the talent. There's still the hype around Kentucky, even when they've not maybe been as consistent with how strong of a program they've been right now. Auburn obviously has built up its pedigree as well. I think there's a lot of intrigue around it. It makes sense why they would put Outlive on that. And Bruce will be there to support, unless he has obligations, but I would imagine that he's working to make sure that he is present for that one. Do you think we should have Bruce just be, I want to say on the sideline, but maybe a seat at the end of the bench
for the game?
Yeah.
Well, he showed up at the end on Saturday with South Carolina. He kind of walked in real quietly and was there until he got noticed. But Saturdays, I'm sure, with his new TV gig is a little bit bigger. He's got some bigger obligations. But I have a feeling he's not missing the Outlive game.
I have a feeling that I'm going to make a prediction, Austin.
Tell me.
And I think Stephen will be upset with it, given how it went last time. He will be the third commentator for the TV broadcast for the Outlive game.
Can he with a TNT signed deal?
It's a good question, but I'm going to throw it out there. And I wonder, given the goodwill opportunity for TNT to allow that to happen, if that wouldn't transpire. So just going to throw it out there.
Should. I've been trying to do research on what other games are that day, and the ESPN app is just failing. Absolutely miserably failing.
It's getting towards the end of February, and so there's usually going to be some good matchups setting as you get closer to March. Yeah. We got.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
there's some good ones.
So what we're going to hope for is for Auburn and Kentucky just to go on a tear here, and then
we need a tear.
We need a tear from both of us. And I never thought I would be saying cheer for Kentucky, and I'm not saying that, but if you want College Game Day, couple it with the Outlive game. I guess it feels icky. Root for the Big Blue or something, and Auburn, obviously, too, if you want that.
Yeah, they'll probably play in Alabama sometime in between then and now. That'll be an easy one to pull for them.
Something. All right. Well, that'll do it for episode 158 of the Auburn Experience podcast. We covered potpourri, schedules, and basketball week. We appreciate you all being here, whether you watched live, caught the replay, all of that. And if you caught the live portion, you caught a little bit of a special guest tonight. So that was extra special. If you want to keep up with me, do so. The best way to do so is through the E2C Network stuff, the DMs on social media, e2cnetwork@gmail.com. Where can they find you?
Yeah, at Austin G. Scott. You can find me and the BOGO special pretty regularly. I'll have to get some pictures up of the boys from yesterday. They had a blast.
I bet they did in the first Auburn basketball game. You're just checking off the boxes for them very fast, my friend. And so you better
checking them all.
You better
soak
that in.
Of being a resident.
Yeah, rub it in. Why don't you? With that being said, that's going to do it for episode 158. As we go, I want to remind you, the Auburn Creed asks you to do these things: do justly, love mercy, walk humbly with God. We also ask you to do the same. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
All right, that's the live recording portion of the show. I have a little time for Q&A here. Austin, I would assume you probably need to run, or do you want to stay?
As I yawn, that was not prompted. No, I'll probably head out.
All right, so we got an extra special moment there this evening, so we'll let him go for that reason alone. Anything before you go, sir?
I don't think so. Thanks so much, everybody. And yeah, hope everybody has a great week. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. I'll stick around with you guys for a little bit. Bye, Austin.
All right, War Eagle. Bye.
War Eagle. All right, you're stuck with me for a few minutes at least here. So we're going to come back out to the regular viewing here, and I'm going to give you the updates for the week. For those of you that may be new or just need a reminder of what our typical schedule here is at E2C Network for your upcoming week. And then we'll take some last minute questions, comments, and a quick Q&A style. I've got some things saved from you guys, but drop some new things in if you'd like to as we roll through these different things this evening. First up, your next scheduled live stream for us. It's going to be a post-game stream. Auburn versus Ole Miss, stats and stories. I love these post-game streams. I hope you guys get enjoyment out of them as well. So join us for that. It'll be right after Auburn versus Ole Miss. Hopefully talking about a pretty decent win for Auburn on the road in SEC play. Even if it's not a win, we'll be talking about it, and I'm sure dealing with the emotions of it all. Hey, no basketball conflict this week, so Auburn Family Night is back again on a Wednesday night in its rightful place, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, live call-in show this Wednesday. We'd love to have you here. So tell a friend, get them in here. Let's start this first. Is this the first one? No, this will be the second Auburn Family Night, I believe, of the new year. So let's get it rolling and continue to build the best little family within the Auburn family. This is a great starting place for people to get to know us. So make sure you tell your family and friends, drag them here, force them here, whatever you have to do, I guess, is kind of what I'm saying, which sounds really bad, but move on, Kyle. We'll also have post-game show on Saturday for the next game, which is at Florida, and then we'll be back again Sunday, 9 Eastern time with Auburn Experience, episode 159. All right, a couple things here that let's get going here. WT says he loves all of the post-game streams as I'm throwing the pencil around or pen, whether they're football or basketball. Yeah, it's not that I love doing both of them, but they're just two different styles. There's usually a little bit too much emotion at times associated with the football ones, which makes it, sometimes a little less enjoyable, but I still enjoy doing them. Basketball, for the most part, I feel like we all go into it interested in what the numbers are saying, or at least that's the way we handle it in that show. So I hope that comes through, and I really enjoy doing those particular ones because we get to do it so often as well, twice a week during SEC play, which is always a lot of fun for me too. WT says you do not have to cheer for UK to win. ESPN will slobber on them no matter the record. I think what Austin and I want, though, is for college game day to come back, and that would certainly give a little bit more excitement to people this year when it's been not up to their expectations, at least. Let's see here. Where am I at? Yeah, there was a couple other things that I wanted to bring up here. Corey says March 20th is supposed to be the deadline for completing the STEM ag buildings. Don't really see that happening, but I'm optimistic. I told you we would get a construction update. It's just not from me this time. If you're not aware, not only like Comer, but even the new area over there that they're working next to the education building, that's been going on for a while. Yeah, listen, the joke used to always be welcome to construction, don't mind the Auburn. I'm stealing that from some other people. If they watch this, they're gonna be really mad I took their joke, but yes, welcome to construction, don't mind the Auburn. That's just a good sign that Auburn's continuing to grow and change and become such a really good thing. This is Kevlar. Great point here. He says we should have a discussion when you have the uniform guy on about face mask on colors on the helmets. We've done that actually, Kevlar. I don't know if you missed it, but I think we did a whole live stream about that when they first came out, if that's what you're looking for. But he certainly would be willing to take a comment or a question when we do a Q&A with him at the end of our next segment, which might be this week. Clint has put in a request to do a show with you guys about some of the spring uniform updates and some of the winter ones we missed when I've been busy. So we'll probably do that soon, hopefully this week, maybe Thursday. I have to make sure that I have the time to get that done with him this week, but he is ready to see you guys all again. So thank you for bringing that up, Kevlar. It was I know that he loves coming and talking about that here with us. Construction news. This is what the Auburn Experience was created for. It's been too long. That's true. All right. Keep your comments coming if you have anything else. These were some of your comments throughout the stream. Is baby blue an Auburn color? That sounds like an official question for not Austin, for Clint. No, the official pop quiz for those of you that have been listening to when we have Clint on or not. What are Auburn's 4 official colors? Pop quiz. Put it in the chat right now. I want to hear from you all before we come back to it here in just a minute. I've never understood following particular players in the pros. I have always followed teams and they never change. They stay loyal no matter what. Yeah, for me, it's just I've never connected with a pro team that much outside of maybe the Braves. So it's more about the connections I have with the players from college and just wanting them to do good, because vicariously it feels like they do good for Auburn too. That's what I really love about it. Beautiful kids, Austin, don't miss a second of the time. There you go. Good feelings there from WT, behaving himself in that way tonight. Kevlar said earlier, we are rebuilding, but I like our players. We will be fine in the future. I just think we need some big men, meaning centers, and a few more point guards. Yeah, and then I saw WT talk about this too. Don't get Kyle started on the 2018-19 team. Yeah, facts are hard, especially when they disprove a popular narrative out there with the basketball team right now. What else? All right. So I asked you guys, gave you a second to think about it. What are the 4 official colors for Auburn? You got it. Orange, burnt orange, navy, blue, white, and yellow. Further pop quiz. Why is it yellow? Official colors for Auburn. Why is it yellow? See if anybody else can come up with that here thinking about it. Somebody said green as well. So no, not quite green, but I think some people would be very happy about that. Anything else here? Always a great show with Clint, the uniform boy on here. He was here for the infamous Dustbuster episode, and that's like still one of his favorite things to this day. Let's see here. I always used to like the Raiders because of Bo Jackson played for him. So you get what I was saying earlier, Kevlar, right? So that makes sense to you. All right. I asked everybody, why is yellow an official color for Auburn? These are the good answers. Lemonade from Tumors, not quite, but that would be an excellent reason. Yellowwood would also be an excellent reason. Come on, folks. Somebody has this. Clint Richardson has said this to you all a bunch of times, and I know I've repeated it here for what are the official colors for Auburn. I cannot believe that some of y'all are forgetting this. I'm going to go ahead and reveal it to you now before anybody types in the chat. If you look back to some of people's favorite logos, there's a certain Tiger Eyes logo where the yellow of his eyes show. And because it is an official logo, it is an official color of Auburn. You can all thank Clint Richardson for making that more aware to you than you probably were. And I'm sure some of you are now going, oh, yeah. So there you go. That's the 4 official colors for Auburn for those of you that weren't aware. Clint Richardson, we have him to thank for that. The freaks follow Clint to the stream for some odd reason. Actually, you're so right, and I don't know why that is. All right, folks, I have to pop off here, but thank you so much for being here tonight. We appreciate those of you that come in to watch live, and we always appreciate those of you that also come on the replay. For those of you that catch the replay, we would love to see you here in the live portion of the show. Sometimes it's a little crazier too. Every once in a while, you catch a little bit of a moment that has to be edited out. Nothing this week, but some of the benefits of getting to watch the sausage being made live. So we'd love to see you here and hang out with us and be part of our little family within the Auburn family. I'll say it one more time. The Auburn Creed asks you to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. Thank you for being here. And until we have the opportunity